Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 12, Chapter 48. Vehicle Care. Doctors agree that illness is caused through faulty food habits and foolish ways of spending leisure, but they do not seem to know that food is a word that connotes a wider variety of intakes. Every experience that is drawn through any of the senses in food has an effect on one's health. We say food for thought. Whatever we see or hear or smell or touch has an effect on the body, good or bad. The sight of blood makes some people faint, or it may be some bad news that administers a shock. Allergy is produced by unpleasant smells, or when something intrinsically unwelcome is contacted or tasted. A sound mind ensures a sound body. A sound body ensures a sound mind. The two are interdependent. Health is essential for happiness, and happiness, or capacity to be happy, whatever may happen, is essential for physical health too. The food we consume should be tasty, sustaining and pleasant. It should not be too hot or too saltish. There must be a balance or equilibrium maintained. It should not arouse or deaden. Rajasic food enrages the emotions. Tamasic food induces sloth and sleep. Sattvic food satisfies, but does not inflame the passions or sharpen the emotions. 5 types of bath prescribed in the scriptures. Nature has many mysteries in its makeup. Man is able to unravel only those that are cognizable through his 5 senses. He does not realize that there is a vast unknown beyond the purview of the 5 faulty instruments of perception that he has. For example, from every being and thing, constantly, without intermission, millions of minute particles and millions of vibrations are issuing forth. Certain substances, like camphor, emanate so much of these that a lump disappears in a few days. For good or bad, we are interacting in this manner inescapably. Naturally, the growth of the body is affected, as well as its health and strength, by the contact or company we develop. These emanations are intensified when dirt accumulates or sewage collects or drains are choked. Sanitation rules are framed to reduce the possibility of disease spreading from such areas. 5 types of bath are prescribed in the Hindu scriptures in order to maintain physical immunity from the emanation of others. First, we have the mud bath, wherein fine mud is applied over the body and kept on for some time before being washed away. Second, the sun bath is recommended because the rays of the sun are powerful disinfectants. They feed as well as freshen. Third, a bath in water. If the water is a flowing river considered holy, and if the bath is taken after propitiatory hymns, the bath will cleanse the body and, at the same time, elevate the spirit. The 4th type is the air bath, when the bath is being exposed to the cool breeze and its salutary effect. The 5th and last type is the ash bath, where the body is given a coating of fine ash or vibhuti, sacred ash, revered as the mark of Shiva. The ash guards the body from evil contacts and the deleterious effects of the vibrations proceeding from others. It also sanctifies and purifies the vibrations of the individual wearing the ash, for it reminds him always of the inevitable end of all that one feels as one's own, except the Lord, who is the very person himself. Uncleanliness has become a popular cult. Untouchability as a social practice must have had its origins in the realization of this truth. But practices like avoiding contact with people or things considered demeaning or defiling later became mere rituals, a hollow round of negations. Those who are ridiculed for observing such restrictions and taboos are finding it difficult to explain the inner significance of their behavior. These observances originated from the anxiety to earn length of life and strength of body, so that the seeker might gain the goal. The Gita speaks of yuktahara viharasya, habits of feeding and recreation which are controlled and regulated. The gross part of food is discarded as feces. The subtle part is transformed into muscle, blood, etc. And the even more subtle of the subtle aspects are transmuted into the mind and its activities. That is why the sages have prescribed certain limits and levels of food in order to promote the spiritual urges and prevent contrary tendencies. But nowadays, as a result of the degraded spirit of the times, food that damages the spiritual urge is being increasingly favored. The elementary rules of personal cleanliness are neglected in the name of novelty and neo-spiritualism. Bath is given the go-by. Oral hygiene is not cared for. Damaging habits are cultivated and tolerated. The mouth is the gateway of the physical mansion. If the gateway is foul, what can we say of the residence and its inmates? Uncleanliness has become a popular cult. It is necessary to keep away from its votaries, for cleanliness is next to godliness. Unkempt, disheveled, dirty heads and bodies denote unkempt, disheveled intellects and minds. The body will shine if the character is fine. Of course, it is true that many sages and saints paid little attention to personal cleanliness, since they were always on the higher plane of nearness to reality. Imitating them without the inner conviction that one is not the body, but that one is the universal indweller, can only be hypocrisy and exhibitionism. Ishvara swallowed the poison that emerged from the ocean, but mortals cannot do the same, even to remove the minor poisons of the world. Develop equanimity, install in the mind the faith in the divine, and then you get the authority to neglect the claims of the body with impunity. You cannot challenge the wisdom of the sages and ask, what harm is there if I too behave likewise? Great harm will certainly ensue when you venture into these realms of the spirit with the ego bloated big. The body has to be carefully and tenderly fostered. It is a precious gift, a very complicated but well-coordinated machine, given for achieving a laudable task. Its exterior too must be clean and full of charm or goodness. The skin of the fruit of Ananda, divine bliss, is the physical body. The succulent flesh is the muscle, bone, and nerve. The hard, uneatable seed is the evil that gets mixed up in life. The juice which the fruit offers, for which the tree was planted and nourished, is the bliss it shares with all. The body will shine if the character is fine. Service of man and worship of God will preserve its charm. The Lord will be watching every action of man with 1,000 eyes, seeking even the smallest trace of selfless love that sweetens the heart. In the past, illnesses were cured by the simple remedies that nature herself provided: roots, tubers, fruits, leaves, etc., as well as rest, changes in habits, regulation of diet, sadhana, spiritual discipline, etc. But now man lives in an age of tablets and injections. Do not believe that health is retained or maintained through doctors. Nor can drugs alone guarantee it. If that was true, the dead should all be alive now. In fact, take a moment to examine whether doctors themselves follow the advice they give to others. They are victims of the very habits which they advise against. They condemn smoking and drinking intoxicants as dangerous to health, but they indulge in both and thereby encourage the very evils they condemn. These are the types of health advisors that we have in every field: spiritual, moral, economic, political, and literary. Absence of proper leaders is the root cause of all the distress, anxiety, and fear that torment the world. You are embodiments of the divine Atma. Do not crave for recognition and respect from others. Crave rather for winning grace from the Lord. In the pursuit of that aim, do not be misled by the emergence of obstacles and obstructions. Prashanti Nilayam, October 16th, 1974.